देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Om. Today being Sunday, we are discussing Bhagavad Gita. So we did certain shlokas before. Now we do the 17th shloka. Okay, so I just read out the 17th shloka, the 5th chapter. Tadbuddhayastadaatmanah tannishtastatparayanaah gacchantya punaravrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaah. So in the earlier shlokas, the difference between jnani and ajnani. This is to help us to understand, to help us to give up our ajnana and become jnani, isn't it? To give up our ignorance, to remove our ignorance, to discover our real nature. He shows the difference between jnana and ajnana. That we discussed before. Jnanena tadajnanam yesham nashitam atmanah tesham adityavat jnanam prakashayati tatparam. So, whose ignorance? That means in earlier shlokas, the very jivatvam, jiva, an individuality subject to action and result of action. That is karya and karana, cause and effect. As an individual, I am subjected to cause and effect. I do something and the result of it, I'll reach some destination. In the sense of some experiences, some situations, some experiences I undergo. By experiencing them, I get some samskara, I get some attachment. Then that provokes me, that instigates me, motivates me to do something else. So the previous experiences of pain and pleasure of different levels, previous experiences of pain and pleasure leave certain impressions in me. Those experiences leave certain impression upon me, and they motivate me, in different ways. Motivate me to again, motivate me to take a certain way of life. They give me, you gather certain positive and negative impression based upon certain experiences. Either you love them or you hate them. So those experiences leave certain impression. Those impressions further motivate you to again take up another action, to take up a particular life, a particular direction of life. So you are motivated to act. As you act, you reach certain experiences. Those experiences you undergo, and they will again motivate you to further action. So this is the cause and effect, a chain of cause and effect an individual is in. An individual is a one. Who is an individual is a jiva. An individual atma, a jivatma is a one who is associated, who is always in possession of certain instruments like body, sense organs and mind. This body is useful to him for doing action, for interacting with the world, for doing action and undergoing experiences. Similarly, sense organs. Sense organs are, in fact, body is not directly useful. Body is a you can say, a location. Body is body is a body through which you express your sense organs, because the body is something like a vehicle. Body is a vehicle through which you have a windows, and through windows you can express, you interact, you come to know the external world, and you also express yourself through it. So body is like a car, is like a vehicle. Its windows are like your sense organs. So through your sense organs and instruments, so body enables your sense organs, both of organs of knowledge and organs of action, to express, to interact with the external world. So body is located because it has got a certain form, certain shape, certain power, certain capacity. And you having your sense organs expressed through the body. And mind sitting inside receives the data of the external world and processes the data and responds to it, and also gets affected by it. And it processes the data, it receives the data, processes, and also your responses start from the mind. So in the mind, new responses, new motives, and new reactions are created in the mind. And the owner of all this thing, body, sense organs, and the mind, who identifies with this whole assemblage, whole Sangata, this assemblage of this institution constituted by the body, sense organs, and mind. It is your sense of individuality, the Jiva, or the Jivatma, who identifies with all the three. He is the one who is really benefited. He is the owner of it, owner of this whole system, and he is the one who gets the benefit of good and bad. Benefit means he is the one who is affected by it. He is the one who undergoes. He is the one who directly experiences good and bad of it, pain and pleasure, happiness and unhappiness, all that. So the owner of it, who identifies with it. So these are the instruments. Body, sense organs, and mind are the instruments. And I who identify with them is the basic individuality. So I am an individual on account of my identification with the body, sense organs, and mind. So body has a certain features, certain qualities. It can be used in a particular way. It has got its own plus and minus. It has got its own energy, power, and also its own limitations, because it is subject to certain things, what you call natural powers, subjected to nature. Sense organs are also get influenced by the first thing is they are limited by the body. Body facilitates the functions of sense organs. Sometimes it limits also. Partly it limits, partly facilitates. External world also influences. No, you interact through your jnanendriyani, karmendriyani, through your organs of knowledge and organs of action. Then the mind. Mind is a very sensitive, emotional. It is a very sensitive, because it is easily it gets affected, because it is a tender. Mind is a tender, intellect is a judgment. Mind is an emotional faculty. It feels good and bad feelings. Intellect judges, makes a judgment. Okay, forms an opinion, forms conclusions, makes a judgment. And also mind and intellect put together, we call them sometimes as one mind, or sometimes antakarana, whatever. So that is the one. It receives the data, processes them, and again makes a new decision, and it contains motives, decisions, and also following up action. Okay, so this is my whole office, this is my whole system, and I am the owner of it. I am the owner of it, and I get the result of it, both good result, bad result, pain and pleasure, favorable, unfavorable. So I am an individual. So people try to improve their body so that your efficiency improves. Your sense organs also become more sensitive. Organs of action are capable of acting. Organs of knowledge are capable of knowing. Your eyes are better, your ears are better. So all those things you can improve to a certain extent. There is no endless improvement. Improvement is also limited. To a limited extent you can improve. And emotional faculty also, you can improve your emotionally capacity to feel, you can improve if you develop your personality, psychological personality. Intellect also is capable of taking healthy decisions, bold decisions. It is self-confident, bold, and self-respect. By learning certain values, certain good habits, certain good character, you will be a little more stronger personality. But yet there is a limit to it. You can't be absolute, because you are limited, bound by these limited instruments. You identify with them and use them both. You identify with them, use them for acting, and also use them to undergo experiences. Your experiences are regulated by the body, sense organs and mind. Your activity is regulated, and your experiences are also regulated, controlled by these things, because these instruments determine what kind of experience you undergo. You can't just have any experience, even if you want to have a better experience, but your sense organs won't permit, your body won't permit, your mind won't permit. Then suppose if mind doesn't permit, then your experience will be limited. If mind is of a high level but body is not, mind is in a good mood but body is not healthy. Sometimes mind is disturbed but body is healthy. Body is healthy, it is capable of walking, running, but you have no mood. See, there should be a combination, healthy cooperation, combination of body, sense organs and mind. In mind again, the emotion and also intellect. All these four faculties should cooperatively work. But I tell you, it's a very rare moment where all these four are hale, healthy and cooperative and work together harmoniously. But one of them gives way and obstructs the other three, although good, in good condition, for want of one, you cannot enjoy. You can't be happy. You won't be able to execute however good plan you have, you won't be able to do. See, this is the human nature. This is the human condition, human situation. So people try to improve, but even improvement has its own limitations. Then the external world comes into picture, your family, your society, your nation. They also have a role. To a certain extent, they help you. Sometimes they handicap you, sometimes they interfere, they disturb you, sometimes they are favorable, sometimes they are unfavorable. The external world, your family, your society, all these things we say in short, due to karma. Due to your past karma, you get your external situation, your family, your society, your economics condition, social condition and all. And also the type of body, your type of sense organs, your type of mind and intellect. All this is due to your past experiences and past karma. That determines what kind of situation, what kind of body, what kind of sense organs, what kind of mind and intellect you come to possess. But your identification, you as an individual who identify with all these four instruments, and also fifth is external situation. Four instruments: body, sense organs, mind and intellect. Okay, these four instruments, and fifth, the external situation. So all these five are determined by your past karma and also present effort. Past is what you acquired, present is how you are going to use them, in what direction. So your present effort can help you to use the past, to use these instruments as well as the situation you are living in. This situation and the body is also brought by your past karma. Karma is not a fixed thing, it is a fluctuating, it is sometimes rising and sometimes receding. It goes up and down. That's why your bodily conditions, your external situations, mind, sense organs keep fluctuating. So at a given moment, a combined effect of all these five is your given moment. At each moment, your external situation is different. At each moment, your body is different. At each moment, your mind is different. At each moment, your intellect is different. At each moment, your sense organs are different. So at a given moment, the total effect of all these five is what you are. Okay? This only shows, first, you are a limited individual, surrounded by or helped by, equipped with certain instruments which themselves are limited and fluctuating. And external situation is limited and fluctuating. You can't command the entire world. You can't command that you have a perfect body, absolutely perfect. Nobody can, because body is limited. And also fluctuating, changing, getting modified. Sense organs too. Age is one factor. your mood is another factor, health is another factor, external world is another. There are many external factors, internal factors keep on continuously influencing your body, your sense organs, your mind. Your emotional faculty also keeps influenced by your external condition, internal condition, people with whom you interact, your past experiences, your memories also change your mood. Past memories change your mood, affect your mood. Emotion changes. Moment to moment, it interacts continuously with other factors and it keeps fluctuating, changing. Your intellect also is not the same. Your knowledge changes, improves, your ideas, your ideals keep changing, influence, because they get influenced continuously. And you have to use these instruments and the situation of the external world, which is continuously changing, for your advantage. How you cannot say anything fixed, because you don't, each moment you are a different person. Though you call yourself an individual, but individual is not a fixed person. At each moment you are a different person. At each moment you are a different person, because the equipments you have, the body, mind and sense organs, the external situation, all these things are continuously changing. They are not the same. They are in a flow, continuous flow. And the combined effect of all of them at each moment is in a particular way. Present moment it is in way. In another moment we don't know which of them changes. Out of these 5 factors, which of them changes, you don't know. Okay. At each moment you have a combined effect of all these things. This is what your individual. Now you see how insecure, how turbulent, how changing, how unpredictable. See, your individual condition, that the jiva's condition is how but what we want is fixed. I want to be happy. I want to be free from insecurity. I want to be relaxed and happy all the time. My goal is same. I want to be happy, free from fear of death and fear of any other kind of fear. I want to be free from insecurity. I want to remain eternal. I want to be totally happy and free. My goal is fixed. My effort is changing moment to moment. And the instrument I have with me are also continuously fluctuating. Can I be sure that I shall reach my goal of being happy all the time, completely happy, eternally free and happy? I want to be free and happy, completely free and completely happy, eternally happy. I don't want to be disturbed, influenced. I don't want to lose my freedom. I don't want to lose my happiness. I want to be completely free. There should not be any threat to my happiness, to my existence. Tomorrow also I want to be sure that I should be happy. Okay? My past memories of pain and unhappy shocks also disturb me, take away my happiness. If my past events also I want to solve. I want to solve all my past. How do you solve? You don't want to be affected by past memories of unhappiness, suffering, shocks and ill treatment, humiliations and all that. I want to be free from my past memories, painful memories, unhappy memories, guilt and hurt and all that. Okay? I want to be totally free from my past. I want to be eternally free about tomorrow. I want to be so sure that tomorrow, eternal tomorrow, not 1 day, 2 day or 1 year, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. I want to be eternally free and happy. I want such a surety that eternally I should be happy and free. Okay, this is my goal. My goal is fixed, is clear. Isn't it? My goal is fixed. Only my way is uncertain. My instruments are not in my hands. Yet I am struggling hard to reach my goal. The goal seems to be far away, you don't know. At the same time, it looks that any moment I may get. At the same time, not sure of anything. Nothing is sure. You are on and on, going on and on. Your journey is going on. This is Jiva's condition. Okay? So that's why an Ajnani means a person who identifies with the body, mind and sense organs for his being individual. I become an individual by identifying with body, mind and sense organs. So as an individual, I feel bound by many limitations and certain advantages, limitations and many disadvantages. A certain advantages, certain disadvantages, I am bound by these situations. As an individual, I become an individual by identifying with these body, mind and sense organs. Naturally, I am surrounded by a certain world, a certain kind of world. The society, the family and the nation I live in. If I live in India, relatively I am okay, I am peaceful. If you live in Ukraine, you must be suffering. Because I think it is disturbed highly now. Probably it may take few more days to become peaceful life. To get your atmosphere, your external conditions will be conducive and peaceful. So that also affects your life. But we can't command. Can we command whatever we want? Just to there should be peaceful country. Can you command? It's not in your hand. It's not in the hand of any given individual. Even all individuals collectively also sometimes can't do. Sometimes the situation comes such that the whole society can't do anything. Helpless. Becomes very difficult. Now this is our life. If you look at your life, sometimes very frightening. Therefore Vedanta says, this is what a limited condition of a limited jiva. Okay? Helpless condition. A limited, instead of helpless, let us say limited condition. There is partly certain advantage also. There are certain favorable things. You have certain things, your health and food and water. You have got money and you have got good friends. You have got society. But this all again uncertain. Nothing you can be sure of. Because at each moment it keeps changing, isn't it? Each moment you have to decide. You can't say, oh, you have got good friends. In spite of good friends, a situation comes that they are helpless, they are not in a position to help you. Ultimately, you go without help. For some time. Later again help comes. So in each moment I am talking. In each moment, you can't be sure of what you are going to get. Therefore, this is an individual. Therefore, within an individual, you try to do as best you can. But best is also, you can't say. What you call the best happiness, the best situation is also sometimes too small. The best in this given condition is too small, isn't it? Sometimes what you call the best thing you get it is a very small thing. Sometimes it is much below your expectation. So this is the human life. And sometimes you get better. But rarely you get perfect, absolutely what you get. What you get sometimes is overwhelming to you, but that again lasts for a short while. Sometimes you feel so overwhelmed with your joy, with your love of your people, your friends, your society. They love you, they honor you. Sometimes you shed your tears out of joy that you get it. It is true, you may get a few moments of extreme joy, highest joy. You feel that so thrilled and overwhelmed with it. But that again, for a while, afterwards, it recedes, it goes away. But you don't consider that your life is fulfilled and successful for getting a few moments of joy, overwhelming moments of joy, a moments of overwhelming joy, overwhelming success. You get it. But how long you enjoy the success? Throughout your life? But for a few days, few hours or few moments afterwards, again you have some other problem, some other frustrations, some other deficiency, defects, inadequacy in another sense, in another way, in another area. So that's why I told fluctuating, not fixed, not complete, partly and continuously changing. This is what. Therefore, Shastra says, how to make all these external conditions eternal, perfect and complete. Can you have a perfect society, perfect nation, where you get everything positive advantage, you have no disadvantage? There is no country on the earth. And it's humanly impossible to make such a nation. That you have a society that you have got all friends, all loving, nobody enemy, nobody hates you, nobody gives trouble to you. You have got such a good family that you have got your husband and wife and children and friends, all your brothers, sisters, and everybody loves you, perfectly love you, all the time they love you, for eternally. Do you have such a people? Nobody has on the earth. And not possible also. Okay. Society, economically, can you command that all the time you have got plenty of money, as much as you want and eternally, and nowhere you find any division? Economically you can't command. Socially you can't command. Physically, can you say that your body is all the time hale and healthy and strong and you can do anything, no accident, no pain, no suffering, continuously, eternally your body will be? No, not even in your dream. Okay, nobody can. But sense organs, all the time perfect, and your eyes give way, your ears give way, you can't hear, you can't see. After an age, of certain age, you can't see. Okay, every sense organs again suffers. Your stomach also cannot digest like before. Your sleep also suffers, everything. Body becomes weak. Your BP, sugar and all. And some people have some BP or sugar, at least one of them. Some people have all the two. They are gifted by all, BP, sugar and many more. Now the intellect also. Your decisions go wrong. Your ideals fail. You fail in your ideals. Your ideas, views go wrong. They fail. At certain period, your ideas commanded respect. Later nobody subscribes to your views. Your ideas get rejected by people. They fail. Your plans and ideas just fail. Sometimes successful for a while. Later they just lose. Your decisions go wrong. Your emotions also deeply hurt. Sometimes you're emotionally pleased. You get people, you get things, which really you love and touches your heart. Sometimes your emotions deeply get hurt. Now, can you have all the time your pleasing atmosphere, all the time you love, that you have got all the time positive emotion of love, continuously, completely, complete love, continuously love and eternally love. No hatred, no emotionally disturbed situation. No, you can't have. Nobody can have ever. Intellect also. So all these instruments, the equipment I have is continuously fluctuating. However I take care, still it gives way. You can't maintain the mood of happiness all the time. Mood of love continuously 24 hours for days and months together. You can't maintain. Nobody can maintain on the earth. So I am associated with this limited in this sense, fluctuating, undependable equipments and the situation around. And I myself am an individual, not eternal, not limitless. I am limited individual, living for a short while, for a few years, maybe maximum 100 years I live, or 120. Rarest person, hardly 1 or 2 people in the whole world. A few people, maybe 5-10 people. I don't know how many people live for 120 years. Maybe countable on your fingers, maybe 10 or 20 people in all over the world. So, as an individual, I am limited. The equipments are limited. The situations are limited. And they are. I live in a condition of cause and effect. Whatever situations I come, whatever these conditions I command at a given moment, your actions will be decided by that. A limited condition, limited atmosphere, limited power, limited instruments, limited thoughts and ideas. Why thought and idea plans are limited? Because you can't predict all your future for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. You may plan for few months. Your predictions, your idea may go right for few months. Can you plan for 100? Because you don't know how will be the situation after 1 year. Nobody can predict. Therefore, your intellect also has to work within a limited data regarding future. With a limited data, you don't know, you can't make a plan for thousands of years. Why 1000? You can't make a plan for 10 years. Because you don't know how the situation is going to be. So your intellect is limited. Judgments are bound to be limited. Are a partial, tentative judgments, they are bound to be. Sometimes they go wrong. Now tell me, what equipment of us is perfect? Therefore we say we are limited, incomplete, inadequate. Inadequate for what? What I expect is absolute happiness, eternal happiness, free from all sufferings, all worries, all tensions. Totally I want to be free, completely free, unhindered, unobstructed by others. Nobody should interfere. I want to be completely free, completely happy. The goal is such, but the situation and the instruments and our capacities are so limited. They fall short of my goal. They fall short of my goal. They can never achieve the goal. But goal is uncompromising. You cannot compromise. That I want to be absolutely happy, perfectly happy. You can't compromise, okay, it seems that I'm not likely to get absolute happiness, so let me settle down for limited happiness, a short while happiness. Later, let there be sorrow, I don't mind. Do you ever say? Can you ever say that? Oh, I'm not likely to get absolute happiness, eternal happiness. Okay, let me have a happiness for a day or two. Thereafter, let there be sorrow, I don't mind. Do you ever say? Can you settle down for anything less than absolute happiness, less than total freedom, less than complete happiness, absolute happiness, eternal happiness? Absolute freedom, complete freedom, eternal. Can you settle down to less than that? Your mind won't be happy. You want absolute, perfect, complete. Then the goal is uncompromising. No compromise. You have no choice. You must have that. Then the instrument you have are so limited. They fall short of your goal. This is what we are. Therefore, Ajnani who tries to adjust with these instruments alone, he has a high hopes of these instruments, these equipments he has, the situation he has around. He hopes to get absolute happiness through these limited equipments and limited atmosphere, limited situation. He is an Ajnani. He thinks that within this worldly life alone he wants to get absolute. Not possible. When he realizes in the beginning, he is shocked. It is true. Nobody comes to your rescue. Nobody loves you absolutely. Everybody has their own selfishness, their own conditions. They love you, but according to their conditions. Within their conditions, which they don't care for you. Okay? They love you on their conditions, on their terms. There is no absolute, unconditional love. Even if they promise and they may show you the love, absolute love for a while, again they change. Their absolute becomes again conditional. Now they orally say, yes, absolutely I love you. No condition, unconditionally. But tomorrow a condition starts. Or after a few days, again condition comes. They start rejecting you. They start finding fault with you. Somewhere something. That's all. Now tell me, in which area you are absolute? Perfect, complete. No chance. But a person believes that I am likely to get. He is an Ajnani. He is an ignorant person. Trying to work to achieve that absolute happiness with these limited conditions. Limited society, limited condition, limited body, mind and intellect. With these limited things, trying to get an absolute happiness, eternal happiness, completely overwhelming happiness, and hopes for it. He believes sincerely that he is trying to get. He will get. He is sure to get. He is sure that he will get. He is an ignorant man. A person who realizes the situation, the atmosphere, the very individuality is limited, he is the one who becomes mature person. He realizes the limitations of what he is, what he has. Now he looks for something. Is there something where I can have limitless instruments and get a limitless happiness? That's where Vedanta says, you need to understand these limitations. And there is another you. You are not a limited individual. You consider yourself to be a limited individual because you are bound to, you are associated with, you are identified with your body, mind, sense organs and intellect. As a person, as an individual who identify with them, you are bound to be an individual with a limited capacity. You are not all pervasive, all time, all situation, all conditions. You are not absolute. Okay. These limited things can't fetch you, can't give you absoluteness. Then what to do? Vedanta says, you change your vision, you shift your understanding of yourself. If you look at yourself through body, mind and sense organs, you are bound to be individual. You can't escape. You can't escape being a limited individual. If you want to transcend the very limitations of being an individual, you have to look at yourself, you have to transcend these equipments, body, mind and sense organs. That means your understanding of yourself. You yourself exist independent of body, independent of mind, independent of sense organs. Not limited by these things, not associated with them. You have to transcend them. So that means you exist. You have a core in you. You have an essential nature in you, which is unconditioned, which is independent of all these things. You can exist, you can live independent of all these things. You have nothing to do with these things. You are totally a different being, unlimited being, eternal, limitless being. You are not an individual. Individuality is a notion, is an idea, is a false notion. It is a false because it is a notion. When you have a notion, it is a notion, you are experiencing it. False in the sense, see, you have to understand the falsity, the mithyatvam in a different sense. False in the sense, it is not true to your reality. That's all. In this sense, it is false. We don't mean that you have no individuality. You feel, you experience that you are individual. You experience the limitations of your individuality. Your experience is there. We don't deny it. We only mean to say your sense of individuality based upon body, mind and sense organs, that I am an individual who is limited, with all limited capacity, limited power and limitations, all kinds of limitations. This individuality is there, is a matter of your experience. Nobody denies. It is a fact. Yet it is not true to your real nature. Your real nature is something beyond. It is untouched by this individuality. Individuality is an assumption which is not true to your real nature. We call it assumption because in your real nature, you transcend individuality. In the sense, you are timeless. You are not bound by time. Past, present and future doesn't bind you. Your existence, your consciousness is limitless. Limitless in terms of time. The eternal past, the infinite, the beginningless past and endless future doesn't bind you because you are beyond your time. Beyond past and beyond future, because your very existence is beyond time. It is a timeless existence. No past, present and future, but you exist. No distances, no areas. Area and distances you transcend. As a body, you are limited, you are located in space. But you understand that you are beyond the body, you are the pure consciousness, then you are like in deep sleep. In deep sleep, you exist without being an individual. You are not an individual, but you exist. You are not bound by time. You are not bound by space. You are not bound by any instruments like body and mind and capacity. Your capacities are not limited. So you transcend all these limited capacities of mind and intellect. You are yourself, absolute self. Lacking nothing, needing nothing. You need nothing, lack nothing. You are deficient of nothing. You are absolute, free and complete. You don't feel anything missing. No missing at all. You feel absolute, complete and full as you find yourself in deep sleep. Okay, that is you. So here, at the moment, I have an opinion, I have an image, self-image, I have an understanding about myself. I have a perception about myself that I am an individual. I am an individual is a perception, it's not a reality about yourself. That I am an individual is a perception, wrong perception, false perception based upon not you. What is not you? Body is not you, because you can exist independent of the body without the body. You can give up your identification with the body and still exist. Your sense organs can be thrown out. Like in deep sleep, you are free from body, free from sense organs. That means you are free from location, free from time, free from your intellect. Because intellect has certain good things, but intellect can make wrong judgments and you have to suffer as a result of it. So you are free from cause and effect relational state. So in deep sleep you are such that you are free from the relations of cause and effect. Cause and effect are found in waking and dream state. You exist free from relations, free from individuality, free from limitations, not subject to time and place. You are absolute by yourself. So the consciousness, your existence in deep sleep is an infinite existence. Existence, infinite existence. Infinite awareness, infinite consciousness. Okay. So if you turn your attention inwardly and discover your real nature, he is a jnani. One who finds himself as an individual, always in association with body, mind and sense organs, and always surrounded by the world which itself is limited, and you can't command all the time the situation which you want. Sometimes you are subjected to certain situation, helplessly you have to submit. You don't like it, but you have to live. You have to live in the external atmosphere, a nation, a society, a family. You may not like all of them. Some of them you like, some of them you don't like, yet you have to put up with them. Helplessly. There's no way. Sometimes you ignore Trump, sometimes you try to forget. Sometimes, okay, let me not think bad about this thing. Okay, I have to live, I am helpless. So let me change my attention. Let me pay attention to, let me think of something else and forget my problem, forget my worries, forget my tensions. Okay, you try to forget, try to ignore, try to tolerate, partly ignore, partly try to forget, partly justify. Okay, once you are in life, there are certain problems, there are certain things, try to justify. All these things, what? Your self-confidence, your happiness, your pleased mind, your mind to be happy, it needs all these things. So you use all these equipments, all these manipulations. Sometimes partly tolerate, partly ignore, partly forget, partly justify. You do also all kinds of things. This we all do. You might not only you. We all do. This is the human nature. This is the human condition. This is the human life. What is unpleasant, you try to forget, you try to ignore, you pretend as if you don't know. Otherwise, if you say that you have got all unhappy, unfavorable conditions, you will be condemning yourself, you will be feeling inferior. Therefore, to avoid inferiority complex, to avoid your self-condemnation, you try to justify, okay, I am happy in spite of few things, it's okay, oh, I am happy, and because you have to make yourself happy. Okay, this is how human settle. It's not about you, not about me. It's everybody, any human being on the earth has to be like that. It's a universal fact. No person is responsible as an individual. This is how the world is. That's all. It's a universal fact, not a man-made fact. We have not created. This is how the world is. That's all. Nobody created. We are only trying to assess the situation, evaluate it, trying to understand as it is. This is a universal nature of human being, universal condition of all human beings. Of course, it is fluctuating. Sometimes slightly or better. Sometimes slightly better, sometimes slightly bad. But not uniform, not perfect. Not uniformly perfect. Okay? Not uniformly perfect and totally happy. Okay? Perfect and complete. This is what we are. Therefore, Vedanta says, you can't escape this limitation, the missing, as long as you consider yourself to be individual. That the individuality is not a reality about you. Individuality is not a reality about you. It is an opinion. It is a judgment. It is an idea, a notion about you. It is not your consciously developed notion, but it is there. It is a notion. It is a notion, all right. It is no doubt a notion. It is not consciously developed by you. That's why we say it is a beginningless adhyasa. Anadi adhyasa in Sanskrit we call. You find yourself to be an individual. You have not chosen to be individual. You have not made any effort to become an individual. Individuality is what I am. I find myself to be. It is beginningless. And this individuality is only a perception, is only a notion. How do you say it is a notion? You find. You look at yourself. In dream, you are a different person. You don't have your waking individuality. You're totally a different being. When you come to waking, then all your dream individuality you give up. In deep sleep, you have no individuality, neither of waking nor of dream. You're totally free from individual, but it is matter of your own experience. Everybody's experience. It is a universal experience. You exist, no doubt, in deep sleep, but not as an individual. No binding, not bound by anything, not limited by anything. Therefore, that what you find yourself in deep sleep is not a tentative state. Vedanta says that is your all-time state, all-time nature, your original nature, eternal nature, a choiceless nature. This is what you are. You only have to turn your attention inwardly and see how your identity with the body, identity with sense organs and mind was a false identity. It is not your true identity. You unnecessarily falsely retain it and continue it. It is not your true identity. You can discover it. You can disprove your false identity. Your identity which happened to be false. How it is false you can discover. This individuality is a false identity. You can discover. You can discover how it is false with the help of Vedanta. Vedanta helps you to investigate yourself, observe yourself. Investigation is called Vedanta Vichara. You have to observe and investigate into yourself and discover your real nature, in which your real nature is such that you are already free. You don't have to become free. You are free from individuality. Once you are free from individuality, you are free from the worldly relationships. Time, space, conditions, pain, pleasure. You are free from the influence of the world. World ceases to influence you if you are not an individual, like in deep sleep. As long as you are an individual, waking individual or dream individual, world cannot but influence you because you are a part of the world. World continuously influences you. Continuously, you have to face it. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Sometimes conducive, sometimes non-conducive. Favorable, unfavorable. Sometimes pleasant, sometimes unpleasant. Okay, because the world is continuously influencing you if you are an individual. But how to get rid of individuality? You only have to discover your real nature, where you are free from individual. Therefore, jnanena tu tadajnanam. The earlier shloka, 16th shloka, which we told, a person who gets the jnanam. To such a person who gets this jnanam, who gets a new discovered, a new understanding about himself, your real nature, original nature, you get a new understanding about yourself by correcting your past misunderstanding. Okay? Ajnanam is your earlier misunderstanding. Jnanam is a new discovery, a new understanding you get. Tesham adityavad jnanam, his knowledge. Oh, how is going to be his knowledge? Once he gets that knowledge of his true nature of his Atma, the real nature of his Atma, his knowledge will be continuously shining. Shining in the sense, it is continuously free. It's not a tentative one. Once you discover your real nature, you are eternally free, eternally happy. Prakashayati tatparam. Then how to get the yatah param jnana yat param jnanam tat prakashitam, yat param jnanam prakashitam. Then how do you get that jnanam? There is a sadhana for it. How do you do? Tad buddhayaha tadatmanah. Next 17th shloka. We just read out. We have completed the 16th and made way for the 17th one. Now we have to start the 17th. We just touch it and leave it for the next week. Yatad buddhayastadaatmanas tannishtas tatparayanaha gacchantya punaravrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. People who will be free from all misunderstanding about himself as an individual. He transcends. He disproves his false identity. Then the real identity, you are free. How? Tad buddhayaha. This is both. This is a sadhana for sadhaka and for enlightened man. How he is explaining. Tad buddhayaha. Tad buddhayaha means he has got a determination about tad buddhi, tad atmanaha. Tad atma means he takes himself. He understands himself to be, Atma means himself, oneself. He understands oneself to be the absolute self, infinite self. Tannishtaha. He loves it. He develops a love and taste for it. Tatparayana ultimately stays in that alone. Okay? He starts as a sadhaka. First tad buddhi, then the tad buddhayas tad atmanaha, tannishta, tatparayana culminates. These 4 steps. Jnani already lives in that 4th step, he already lives in it. But a sadhaka has to go through these four steps and then gacchantya. He is free from all misunderstanding and then that's a false identity and he becomes totally free. Okay? 12. I think we'll stop. Okay, time is up. We'll continue in the next class. I'm slow, very slow, because it is not a concept. Giving concept is easy, but using concepts to touch your own experience, what I am, that is difficult. In fact, that understanding, it is not a concept, it is a direct understanding of yourself. You face it directly. You unwind, disprove your false notions about yourself. You disprove the false notion against the background of your real existence. See, continuously your real existence has to be pointed out. Against the background of your real entity, these false notions have to be understood as a false. All these individuality, the notion of individuality, all your capacities, qualities, whatever you think of, they have to be disproven. Disproving means what? You have to prove them they are not true to your real existence, your real nature. Your real nature is one. The notions you have about yourself, that I am a jiva, karta, bhokta, I am an agent of action, I am an experiencer, I am subject to birth and death, all this individuality. The qualities, first as an individual you have certain other qualities. All these things are not true to yourself. Your real self is something different. So, against the background of your real nature alone, these notions have to be corrected, dismissed, disproved. Once you understand that your real existence is something different, what you think of yourself, the notion about yourself is not true to your real self. Once you discover that your real self is something different from beyond your notion about yourself, this notion about yourself is false. Once you understand, you transcend it. This is called correcting your ajnanam, dismissing your ajnanam and discovering your real nature. Then you are a free person. Your real nature is already happy, is already free, is already eternal. It's not affected by anything. It's not subject to anything. It's independent and free and infinite by itself. So this discovery, how do you discover? Keep on watching yourself, observing yourself. How? There is a way. First you have to purify your mind, remove your prejudices, remove your too much of petty personality. You have to become a large-hearted personality, a mature personality. Then you need a teaching of Vedanta. Vedanta helps you certain way of looking, how to look at it. So once you look at yourself, there is a real you. The real you exists in all states, waking, dream and deep sleep. It continuously exists. It is not a tentative you. Waking you is a tentative you. Dream you is a tentative you. But that which underlies all your states, all your experiences is real you. It is not a tentative you. It is an eternal you. Therefore, what is my eternal existence of me? The real existence. So you pay attention to that real existence, eternal existence, which is naturally there on its own. You pay attention to it. You see the contrast to your present state of yourself, present understanding of yourself as an individual, and your real, which is eternally there. In this contrast, against the background of your real you, this individuality is a falsity. Oh, once you discover this individual is no more you, you are no more Jiva, you are that Brahman. You come to discover. Okay? I think it's enough for today. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat.